Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to the Council on Future Conflicts. My name is Scott, the host of the show, and I'm joined by Joe and Watcher. Guys, we've got a lot to talk about. We wanted to kind of bring it back to some of the some of the more domestic topics. So we're talking about the Muslims as a menace? Question mark, not a statement, no libel there. And then the other is Venezuelan Vendetta. I can't help but think that we've had that title before, but maybe it's applicable in the current situation. And so we're going to be talking about blowing up drug boats and building combat power off the shore. Sorry, Joe. I just saw your in the chat. I don't know why I got up so. Oh yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the people said they liked the early hour the other day. I was really surprised.
Can I point something out about the photo you chose, Washer?
I chose it, but go ahead.
Notice the guy behind the dude with the sweet watermelon dashiki, wearing the bright pink shirt, proudly proclaiming to all that he is a vegan. Even in a mass protest and prayer call in New York City, he has to tell everyone that he's a vegan. Probably a CrossFitter too.
I bet.
Oh my god. Well, I guess that's the ultimate halal, right? You can't eat non-halal food if you don't eat meat, right?
I suppose.
Wait a second. Do they do halal for? They don't do halal for vegetables. It's just meat, right?
Yeah, halal has to do with the way something is slaughtered. So
Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought. So,
but I'll point out if y'all can explain to me or define to me which traditional warrior class was vegan.
Yeah.
Oh, there isn't any. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Early bird gets. I like a good Red Dawn reference whenever we can work one in. So thank you for that, gentlemen. How's the week treating you, Joe?
You know what? It's not bad. I had lunch with old Hong Kong the other day, so it doesn't really get any better than that. So that's pretty cool.
Joe, I've been doing a lot of internet searching based on a certain conversation we've had. A lot of really interesting stuff that I found on the old interwebs. We're gonna have to have a little chit chat.
I said that. Oh yeah, and I didn't meet your timeline, but I did do some. I just haven't gotten it to you. But he when I told him that idea, he said, "Yeah, but I still think you should go to work for DHS." So draw your own conclusions. Anyway,
well, the DHS job would be like the safe bet. The other one might actually put a lot of money in my pocket after I started doing some figuring. Anyway, all right.
On that note, I've got some plans to take some people hunting this weekend, which is always good. But hunting in Montana can be adventurous, as two men in Seeley Lake learned this week when they shot a deer, and when they went back to get it, there were 3 grizzly bears on it, and they had to kill 2 grizzly bears in self-defense because the grizzlies were like, well, those guys look even fresher than this deer, so let's go eat them. And they had to shoot 2 of the bears. The third bear ran off. But listen, if you're in Montana and you shoot a deer, drag it out immediately. Don't go and get your buddy, because the bears have been conditioned out here that single gunshot means food. So
is it? Yeah, that's a dinner bell ringing.
Yep. Not cool.
Well, even if you go get your food, you better get it the fuck out quickly. Don't hang around. Don't wait for it to just kind of ripen in the air.
It's even more important with an elk that you have to quarter and carry out, because then you're going to have blood involved too. You need to get moving. Yeah. And that Seeley Lake from my place is literally 30 miles, so it's not that far as the bear walks. So,
Watcher, how you doing, brother?
You know, doing okay. Living in modern America. What can I say?
Hey,
Um,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say it's just interesting watching. California plates have long been something that I see far too often and make me unreasonably angry. I'm gonna have to add New York to that list, I suppose.
Well, you can always proselytize to the unclean if you are a evangelical sort. If not,
No, no. I see a time coming in the Midwest and the Mountain West where we will likely have our own Saint Patrick like figure in the near future. I'm feeling.
well, I'm still anybody who is not a Mohammedan may still be savable. I I feel like the Mohammedans are just, there's no saving that crowd as far as making them productive and good Americans. I mean, yeah, that's just me.
Does somebody have a chirp in the background?
Yeah, I heard it too, chat, but I didn't hear it here.
Well, it's clearly not here.
It's not here either. I
Ah,
could,
our
it's got.
FBI agent. That's what it is.
I think it's Watcher. Because I mean,
It,
we've never seen you before on camera, Watcher. We
it's
don't know
certainly
what
not me.
we don't know what
Actually,
you look
You
like.
could be
No.
a ceiling bird disrespecting.
That was funny. I don't know if you guys remember that, but I posted that one video that had my hand in it, and somebody was like, "Wait a minute, Watcher's white." It was like, "Wait, what did you think?"
I have failed the chat because the guys who were actually at the G camp heard it, but I'm working on a poem called The Ode to the Ceiling Bird. And the first two lines go like this: Yea, though I hear thine cheap chirp, nay, shall I change thine battery. So we're working on it, right? We're working.
Yeah, we're working on it. All right.
Speaking of things that are getting work done.
Oh boy. Yeah. So, we were just talking about this, Joe, on the show on Wednesday, and lo and behold, I think it was you that posted about this, like about 3 hours later.
Yeah, I think it was Marlene who asked about it, or somebody.
Yeah.
Asked about the nexus of the Chinese in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then boom, we get three more people charged out of the University of Michigan. And it says right here, straight up, smuggling of biological materials. This is actually eco-terrorism. They're trying to bring in funguses that kill plants and that specifically target American agricultural products. And they claim it was for research. But why would I be doing this research? If I want to weaponize it, I might want to research it. So this makes a total of 5 people who have been charged in that entire ring. And they're related to the others that fled from East Lansing, Michigan, about a year ago. So
yeah. Let me read the story here. I'll just kind of read the highlighted parts because I don't think we need to get too deep into this. Go ahead.
Before we get into it, Joe, remind me what happened to the Florida orange industry a couple years ago?
it was targeted by a Chinese bioweapon and was absolutely decimated. So.
Oh, right. Oh, weird. Almost like there's a pattern.
Almost like there's some sort of a war going on between America and China that we don't recognize.
Omega Lloyd, it wasn't Selfridge. It was actually Camp Grayling, and they tried to claim that they were just tourists. But if you've ever been around Camp Grayling, there's literally nothing tourist related. And Camp Grayling is the largest National Guard base in the U.S., and it's also a training center for a certain Slavic nation that's engaged in a war with the Russians. So, yep.
All right. Let me get back to that. All right, here we go. Three additional Chinese researchers at the University of Michigan have been charged as part of an ongoing investigation into the smuggling of biological materials from China to the United States. The U.S. Department of Justice announced on November 5th. Bai and Zhang Fengfan, that's their name, Fengfan.
I thought it was Baofeng. I'm sorry.
Baofeng, yeah, I know, right? That would be a little too
Wait,
on the
I am
nose,
a Fang fan. That's a great name. Zhang
That's
Fang fan.
Yeah. No, but the other one is Bai Feng fan, so I mean, that's what you are. You are a Bao Fei fan. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, they were charged with conspiracy to smuggle biological materials in the United States, while Zhang Ziyong was charged with making false statements to federal agents. The three defendants were arrested at the JFK International Airport on October 16th and taken into custody by Immigration and Customs Forces before they could board the flight to China. Han was supposed to start research at the University of Michigan in June under a J-1 visa, but was arrested upon her arrival in the Detroit metropolitan area that month. She was accused of having shipped, prior to her arrival in the U.S., petri dishes with containing nematode worms known as C. elegans. The university and falsely declaring them on the shipping documents. She pleaded no contest to 3 smuggling charges and to lying to U.S. Customs official, was sentenced to time served. Oh, well, time served, Joe. I mean, according to the criminal complaint, Han was removed from the United States on September 11th. Allegedly attempting to smuggle biological materials under the guise of research. I don't know that there's anything
Here's the weird thing.
completely crazy about this, but
Well,
it's
it depends
definitely
on what's been
weird.
done.
It's definitely weird.
It depends on what's been done to those C. elegans. Okay, because here's the thing. There is zero reason, if that is all this is. C. elegans is often used in all kinds of research because they have a very short life cycle. It's 3 days, and the other reason they're used is because they're found in soils everywhere, all over the world, everywhere. So unless these are modified, I do not think this makes sense. You don't smuggle an organism from China that you can literally get from the dirt outside the lab. So there is a reason that these specific ones are being smuggled over from China.
Yeah. Joe, any more thoughts on this one?
I'm okay with her being sentenced to time served because she got yeeted back to China the next day.
Yeah,
and,
that's kind of the
that's
important
probably
part.
a worse sentence. Being a failed Chinese spy doesn't go well when you get there, and hey, that's on them. But cool.
I think the key part is this last part in the story here. It says the new charges reveal an organized network of scholars engaged in illegal activity on Michigan's campus. Not just Michigan's campus, on every campus in America where there are Chinese scholars. They're all, there may be some individuals that are completely trying to get away from China and the U.S. is their opportunity. Sure, if that person is legitimate, they should come here. They should defect. I think if you're under threat at all in China, you have every right to defect into America, and I bet the Trump administration would do that. The problem is most of them aren't that way. Let's call it 95% are willful or useful idiots for the Chinese Communist Party. It's part of a broader coordinated campaign targeting universities across the country, driven by China's efforts to acquire American technology. And this goes back to what we were talking about on Wednesday, how it's actually not secret military government stuff that they're looking for. It's all the commercial and, university style research is what the basic science that they're trying to get that. They steal that, and then they're basically leapfrogging ahead. That being said, they've got way more scientists and researchers and all these kind of technical career fields than we do. So, how long is it before they just kind of brute force their way into advanced technology that maybe we not even we have yet? I don't know. Watcher, any final thoughts?
Just the classic. Don't trust China. China is asshole.
Yeah. Emotional damage.
I have decided the most interesting thing in this story is Fang Fan, and I believe we might need to make a patch, like a Ranger tab that says Fang Fan, and I actually just go with that.
The Fang,
I
Fang, Bang Bang.
Gang Fang.
Fang Gang.
All right. Too bad Jim can't be here to help educate us on this economic news, but I figured I'd share it with you guys anyway. National debt just hit 38 trillion. Let's watch this video from Mr. St. Ange and see what we can get from it.
The national debt just hit 38 trillion. Congratulations, America. Congress spent every penny. 38 large comes to $287,000 for every household in America, with another $140,000 in private debt. And it comes just 2 months after we crossed 37 trillion back on August 12th. As in, we're now running an annualized $5.1 trillion of additional debt, which is 2.5 times the headline deficit. It also comes to $40,000 in new debt for every household in America last year. In other words, you could have bought a nice car last year with cash. Instead, Congress blew it. For perspective, 38 trillion is roughly 1/3 of all the M2 money in the whole world. So this amount of debt is doing three things. First, it is escalating debt interest payments, which go on top of existing debt. Yes, we borrow every penny. Second, it's raising interest rates as federal borrowing crowds out everything else, business loans, personal loans, mortgages. Third, it's raising concerns among investors, people who buy all that debt, whether government will actually pay it back. So the Congressional Budget Office now projects $140 trillion of debt by 2054, which is literally more than all the money in the world. So will they pay it back? Now, about 81% of voters say they care about federal debt in polls, but it ranks very low, typically around number 10 or 12, down with transgenders in sports. Presumably because in the back of their minds, voters know it will never be paid back. It is just numbers. But it's not just numbers to the investors who buy these bonds, including every major bank and pension fund. They're already driving up interest rates, bond yields, in fear of default. It's driving the so-called debasement trade, gold and silver, as investors worry that they'll let inflation run to reduce the debt, which increases the value of gold and silver. This actually happened under Biden, where he added $8 trillion in debt, but the debt to GDP ratio actually went down because of inflation. The extreme case, Weimar Germany used inflation to shrink their crippling national debt to the price of a loaf of bread. Alas, Biden crashed out before we got the loaf of bread. Even worse is a hard default, where they simply stop paying. This happens in states all the time. In 2008, California, Arizona, and Illinois paid in IOUs. New York famously did it in the 70s. It also happens in countries all the time, usually basket cases like Venezuela or Sri Lanka, but also in rich countries when some clever politician realizes that voters enjoy stiffing Wall Street and China, who own the debt. It's exactly what happened in Greece in 2012, where the prime minister decided to stiff the greedy German bankers who owned Greece's foreign debt. This set off a default crisis across Europe, ultimately bailed out with 30% of the GDP involved. So in U.S. terms, that's about a $6 trillion bailout. So what's next? Brought to you by I Trust Capital. $140 trillion by 2054 is a comic book number, but CBO says it's coming, and it will almost certainly be defaulted, whether hard or soft with inflation. The easy fixes are cut spending or balanced budget amendment, which will not happen, meaning either we fix the money and the Fed with gold, or it is a combination of periodic default and permanent inflation that will really make that gold, silver, or Bitcoin shine. Read the rest with charts and all the gory details at propsynerge.com. Right. Okay, we'll be...
Yep, so...
oh, I'm sorry, I just woke up. What?
I mean, grim news. I mean, I wish I could ignore this, but unfortunately, this is the fucking steel trap that puts us to sleep, but fucking is looming in the darkness to basically steal all of our wealth.
Yeah, Unfortunately, with the people that are in charge right now, we do get some bonuses, but not spending all of the money is not one of them.
Yeah. I mean, Joe, if we start having kind of so, like, I guess one of the points that I wanted to bring up about this is just when Trump comes up with some idea of ways to kind of potentially be able to pay this off, he's losing potentially the opportunity to conduct tariffs. I mean, it's almost like there are people in this government that are invested in us not paying off the national debt, so that we can, destroy ourselves from within.
I'm sorry. What did you say? It's kind of loud here. There's a cricket, and he's very loud.
Well, basically, there are people who are invested in America collapsing, and they're doing everything they can to keep from paying this fucking thing off.
Here's the thing. I mean, that's not exactly news, right? We've all known it's been going up ridiculously every year, and just because he says it doesn't make it something new. I mean, there are people who insist that the government continue to pay unfunded liabilities, and the only way we can pay unfunded liabilities is if we borrow money. And by the way, unfunded liabilities are things like SNAP and EBT that aren't in the budget but have to be paid anyway. So,
and y'all know what the modern monetary theorists who have been advising the people who were in office and caused a large percentage of this say is going to happen to this debt, right? I want to be very clear. They said this would happen. They say, hey, the good news is you get in a bunch of debt and then you inflate the currency you pay the debt back with. So you end up paying back less than you actually borrowed.
Yeah, you monetize the debt. You basically.
I want to be clear. That is the same logical fallacy as plugging the end of a power bar into itself and expecting infinite power.
Right. Yeah.
People have been talking about the national debt and an impending collapse since 1980. So we can talk about it every day, but it's always going to be there. It's never going to go away.
Well, I guess the thing to kind of to bring it down, to operationalize this, right, at the local level, because ultimately what we're talking about is how can these domestic events affect our individual, our family, and our community security efforts, right? So what does this do? It makes it hard for us to afford the things we want. I mean, so the more you can buy now, so it's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is just another thing that basically, hey, listen, don't fucking sit on your laurels. Spend the money now, whether it's on training, whether it's on things like tools, valuable things. When the dollar goes down, what happens to the price of ammo? It goes way up,
the price of everything. I want to make an
example.
Right.
Like, I'm just saying
No, I get you, but like even something this small, like we went to go shuffle some of our rice storage, and I realized that rice is literally 3 times as expensive as when I bought it 5 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are like that, right? Was rice really that cheap during COVID?
Just before COVID, 2019 was the last time.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wow, that seems. Because even the price of rice even went up here, and they're like really, fanatic about their local rice here in Korea.
I was gonna say, rice went up there. There's literally rice growing in your backyard.
There is literally rice growing in my backyard.
Well, speaking of modern events that make it hard to keep the things you want.
Hold on a second. Before we move on, Phil Coggins for $5 says MMT, modern monetary, makes sense as long as the USD remains the greatest export. Here's my challenge to that. MMT basically says that debt is an asset, and I completely disagree with that. So, like, that central thesis is, I think, completely false. And so now I know what you're saying. I think you could cross out MMT and you could say large national debts makes sense as long as the U.S. dollar remains the greatest export of the U.S.
Yeah.
The problem is, and we honed in on this, and this is something that Stan kind of educated me on, early on in the during the war, when we started heavily sanctioning people related to the Ukraine war, was, when you sanction oil, right, you take away the one superpower that the United States has, and that is the petrodollar, because what countries are going to do is start buying and selling other people sanctioned oil with things other than dollars, whether it's hard goods, whether it's other currencies,
Correct,
whether
yeah.
it's whatever it is, right? And so as long as the U.S. dollar is the Bank of International Settlements does everything in dollars, and you've got the petrodollar, all that is intact, then yeah, you can kind of make this Ponzi scheme keep going. But as soon as you pull you knock the leg out from underneath the chair, then the fucking chair falls over. That's the big problem here.
So no, the big problem is when we stopped treating money for an actual hard physical thing, and we went with things like theory, monetary theory. Money used to be a solid thing. I have X amount of gold. That's what I can interact with. Monetary theory is like, well, money is this thing we can create and adjust and change the levels of. It's not. So,
yeah, it's
in all honesty, if it wasn't for modern monetary theory, the Ukraine war would have ended a long time ago because Ukraine would be broke.
the gods of the copybook heading with fire and slaughter appear.
Okay. Shall we move on, gentlemen?
Yeah. Speaking of things that make it hard to keep hard assets.
Yes, this is a very disturbing.
Yeah, speaking of dangerous bears. Yes, that is a chainsaw that the bear is stealing. I don't know why he needed a chainsaw, or what he thought it was, or which one of you has a trained bear.
I was to say the crackheads have trained the bears now. So he gives the bear honey. He takes the chainsaw to the local pond, and then he gets his crack.
That's a really, really new chainsaw. The guy had bought it that day, apparently. And but I guess the lesson is don't leave your chainsaw on your porch.
Yeah, well, definitely. But geez, man, that sucks.
Earl Corgi actually has a good point here, Joe. Member for 43 months. Thank you for being a member of the channel for so long. Storage food is crazy expensive right now. Joe, I mean, this is something that you were telling me about, I think, last year when about how, like, hey, storage food is like, that ain't going to be cheap. It ain't cheap now, and it's going to get even more expensive. Can you talk a little bit about that and what the folks can do?
Well,
to kind of
all of the long-term
that?
storage foods, the demand has gone up for, and therefore the price goes up because the supply goes down. I think the biggest indicator of this was about a year ago when we first talked about this. Is when you normally go to the grocery store, all that stuff is at the bottom row, right? The big packages of rice, the canned meats, and all that stuff, like the Keystone ones, not like Spam, but I mean the long-term storage ones. About a year ago, they moved it up to eye level, which in a grocery store is the prime real estate. That told you that people were more interested in it, and the prices of it went up. So you should have had some, and there we are. You should have bought it a long time ago. The big bags of rice are way more expensive than they used to be. Grains, raw grains, have gone up. Fortunately, we have an entire building full here that's been there for a while, but mutually assured MREs are cheap because they are, unlike things like Mountain House, MREs are actually, they spoil. So that's why they're getting cheaper.
Yeah, they're really only good for about 5 years if you get them new, and you rarely get them new. So you're probably talking 2 to 3 years max on MREs. And they're heavy, Joe, because you got all that fucking, they're full of essentially, the liquids and everything. So, I guess, Joe, if I were in in the shoes of somebody who needed to buy some food, maybe I would go. I think probably what you were saying, the bags of rice, the bags of beans. I think probably smoking and making your own jerky is probably cheaper than any kind of, you can get those freeze dryers. I don't know how well that works.
So it works very well. So this is the other reason that I was just looking into food storage is my mother-in-law just had her basement burned down, and that was all of her food storage. So she's having to reacquire 30 plus years of food storage in a hurry. And the good news is we found out that it's going to cost less than a quarter of what it would have cost because we have our own freeze dryer and we can just buy the ingredients in bulk at Costco.
Well, and that's if you look at the cold weather rations, they are now all Mountain House for that reason, right?
Yeah.
Less weight, last longer,
tastes better. It does. Like if you do it correctly, it ultimately tastes way better. The freeze drying process can do a heck of a lot as long as you prep it correctly before you put it.
I just ordered a batch of homemade MREs, freeze dried stuff from LCNM Patriot on Twitter. Rick, great dude. It's the way to go, man. I know a few people who make their own dehydrated food.
People have been asking me. We've been looking at doing it ourselves. Eventually we will, but there's one thing we have to do first, guys. We have to build a little commercial kitchen inside of our garage, according to the state, before we're allowed to do that. So,
Joe, what on those foods, on the stuff that you were ordering? How long does that last?
25, 30 years.
Yeah, 50 plus years
great.
If stored in the right conditions.
Basically, room temperature.
As long as it remains sealed and airtight. It's good forever.
Yeah.
Point, noodles are often underlooked as a non-perishable storage food. Correct. Sure, there's a date on the spaghetti box, but that's not a real thing.
Oh yeah, you can make your own egg noodles too, and as long as you dehydrate them properly, they last damn near forever.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of options. If you're crafty, there's a lot of options for things that you can buy, in bulk at the grocery store. Is it as high speed and good maybe as some of these other packaged foods? Maybe not, but it sure will get you by. And just on stuff that with minimum effort, you can eat food that will easily store for 10 years. With just a little bit of an ingenuity and the willingness to buy in bulk and maybe, not have the perfect menu, but, something that'll get you by Joe, I think all of us military guys have been hungry because it just happens from time to time. When you get hungry, you eat freaking anything,
Yeah.
While we're talking about this, I'm just going to put something on screen to make people happy. Don't pay too much attention.
Oh yeah, is this the one that's going to turn into bacon at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love these. I swear, a good little bit of bacon.
Oh, weird. I didn't realize we had 2 pig videos in a row.
Oh, is this? Let's hold off. Joe, you want to talk a little bit about tactical-wisdom.com before we jump into pork season?
I would if my computer would stop beeping at me. Now in addition to the crazy cricket running around here, now my computer is sending me 4 million notifications that I didn't ask for. Anyway, see, just like that. I don't care about if someone's respond to the Putin-Lavrov spat. I don't care, computer. Stop it. So there's a great story there recapping the last couple of weeks down at the G Camp and all the good stuff we did. And talks about the importance of training. I just did a post on X a little bit ago where I said if you're on your 3rd or more AR build, you should actually be investing that time and money in building the warrior, not the platform, right?
Correct.
It's supposed to be a tool and not the main focus. So invest some money and time, as much as you do on buying guns and ammo. Invest some of that money into training and actually getting out and learning how to move and operate in the field and learning how to work together as a team. I know everyone on Twitter is a super tactical operator already. It doesn't need to learn anything, but maybe you should just consider it for the camaraderie standpoint, getting out and meeting mutuals and like-minded folks, getting out and training together and doing that kind of good stuff. So the article's about that and about the classes I've added to my schedule. So if you want to click over to the schedule, to training courses, we will talk a little bit about what's been added. I have coming up here in about a month, Winter Survival. I've already got some folks signed up for that. And then in January, we're going to do Winter Fieldcraft and a Combatives Weekend. And I've gotten a lot more interest in Combatives Weekend. Unarmed self-defense, ground fighting, stick fighting, knife fighting, and cold firearms combatives all on a weekend. You get a cool study guide at the end, and you can, if you pay for Combatives Weekend once, you can take it for free forever, come back and get some reps in. And then in February, we're going to run Winter Survival again. And there's a rumor that I have to confirm yet with the boss that I will be doing Fieldcraft before the Scout and Recce course in February, followed by Community Security Ops. So we shall see. Stay tuned. And if you're in the greater Northwest Montana or Northern Idaho region, I will be at the Kalispell Gun Show that first weekend in December. Bring your books out and I'll sign them, and we can hang out and chat and ooh and ah at all the guns at the gun show.
Yeah, I can't, Joe. You know how much I'm looking forward to going back to my first gun show after
Oh yeah, you haven't been to a gun show in years. Yeah,
years. It
so
probably.
that's why I always run a table at the gun show. It's not because it's great for sales. It means I get to spend the whole day at the gun show without being harassed about, are you ready to go yet? So
and you have a place to sit when you want to just kind of take a break.
Yeah, and at the last one, when I did this last year, a guy bought my new AR right to me and was like, "Hey, you want to buy this? It's brand new." Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Wow, you want to take a 50% haircut on the rifle that you bought? You know, like and have never fired. Yeah.
Listen, every time you go to one of these gun shows, there is someone like that. Somebody like, I don't know, I haven't seen him in the chat, so I'll say it. Like Hunch, who has bought some cool thing and has then seen a new shiny object and says, "I'm going to sell this one at a slight loss to fund my purchase of the next one." And I'm just here for those people. I am here for those people.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm looking forward to helping some people who are hard in their luck. Get them some cash in their pocket so I can fill my gun safe with things that I probably don't need, but I definitely want.
Oh, there's so many good things that have come out since you've been gone too. Like I can't even blame a man. Like
I'm telling you, brother.
For those of you who aren't aware, just think of all the really great, amazing guns that have come out in the last 20 years. Scott has had no opportunity to purchase any of them.
Mostly. I mean, like, there have been times I've been in the States, but it's kind of like, why? I'm here for 2 years. Why buy a gun if I don't know that I'm gonna, I'm so happy to buy it. Take it to my dad's house and put it in the gun safe.
And then dump it in the safe. Yep.
See, I've never been much of a collector. I'm more of a gathering tools that I will actually use for something.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't really collect, but it's just one of those kind of things that, it's like, just there's collections and then there's things collect, it's kind of like,
yeah. Yes, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Where did all these tools come from? I've got to use them all someday, but still.
And listen, let me tell you all, as Squishy Hunter is mentioning over here, you need to get you need an A2 flash hider for any AR platform you have, just so that it'll work with a blank firing adapter if you come to training class. Yeah. And as we noted this week, A4 flash hiders don't work. You need an A2, because I have an A4 on one of mine, and the blank firing adapter did not work. So. Listen, Dabber Dan, I refuse to answer that question because that might make it seem like I'm a collector.
Hey, Joe, in fairness, guys like us, we've actually been issued the tools, and then we started, just collecting, the
Yes.
things that we, there's an affinity through our professional experiences with the tools.
And I'll tell you, like in the 06 to 08 thing, the AK is what every military contracting agency issued because they were literally just laying around.
Well, and in all fairness as well, right? Like, Zastavas don't count as AKs. So, like, you can take any one you've had that's a Zastava, and it doesn't count towards your AK total. It's a completely different gun.
Hey, listen, CWSB, there's nothing wrong with the Keltec shotgun. It is a cool-looking shotgun, and it holds 11 rounds.
I mean, right, the shotgun, 11 rounds, hard to have, like, okay, it's Keltec. I mean, it may be the yeet cannon of shotguns, but it looks cool.
But it does look cool. It looks like some other Star Wars movie. I mean, come on.
Hey, come on, Joe. If the yeet cannon as a pistol was literally exactly the same and weighed the same, but it looked fucking cool, you'd get one, wouldn't you?
No.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would. If it looked cool, you would get one. The yeet cannon doesn't look cool. It looks like a fucking somebody added a pistol grip to a brick, and that's why we all make fun of it.
It's better when it's the Jeet cannon, though.
The Jeet cannon.
That's the Indian version.
All right, let me do the brush beater radio ad here. All right, tonight we're witnessing the collapse of. Oh no, what? That's the one from. That's the last one.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
All right. So anyway, today we've got the rise of Islam and the fall of Venezuela all in one basket. And oh, by the way, there is some overlap with those two. With Iran kind of and their proxies probably are still hanging around. You know what's sad, Joe, is that some of the strongest proxies Hamas cells left in the world are probably the ones in Venezuela. And you know what? After being in Venezuela, they're like, "Sorry, you can keep Gaza. I'm staying here. I'm a Western Hemisphere Gazan at this point. The Brotherhood in America needs me." I mean,
hey, I've got that Rattler right there. Anyway, yeah.
It's
no, the Rattler on the other side.
You're talking like this.
The V2? Yeah.
Oh. All right. So anyway, from the crumbling front lines of ideological invasions with the Muslims, the tide turns fast. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by NC Scout with training gear to reclaim the advantage. When pockets fall and red flags rise, Brush Beater's RTO course arms you with secure. No, I should have said the black flag of Islam rises or the green flag rises. Arms you with secure comms to rally forces to evade surveillance, bridging battlefields or backroom deals. Push forward with the advanced RTO course, mastering signal.
Well done, Squishy. Well done.
Don't distract me when I'm reading. That was fucking hilarious.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, let me just close this out. Go check out the Brush Beater Store online or his showroom at the Yanceyville training facility. Go to the website brushbeater.store/collection/trainings or collection/optics. Use code CFC10 for 5% off courses, optics, medical kits, or gear. Orders over $100, shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt in the Brush Beater Store for backing the Council on Future Conflict. Visit brushbeater.store, enter code CFC10, and get away from those Muslims. Now, back to the program. You know what I love, Joe, is that any of the non-PC stuff that I come up with for these fucking ads, Matt's like, drive on, brother.
You know what's funny is we were talking earlier about the debt ratio making prices go up. The Wolf 14 is on clearance now for more money than I paid for it when it first came out. So you should have bought your optics a long time ago, but knife hand. But you can get them right now. Get on it.
When is the best day to order night vision and buy night vision? Today.
Yesterday.
Today is the best day because it will always be more expensive tomorrow. All right. Gentlemen, we're gonna dive into the world of Muslims as a menace? ?
I hate when Windows doesn't update and all of a sudden it sends you a million things you never asked it to do.
Yeah, that sucks, man. Oh, I was literally using
You know what? I'm sorry. This is what AI is for.
What is it?
It's SAR 15.
SAR 15. Oh boy.
So yeah, I'm at work using Edge, and just like in the middle of I've got like 15 tabs open. You know, I'm logged into Google, so I've got I've got to use my 2-factor authentication, which in the phone is nowhere near me. I got that way outside my office area, and I'm just working along. I'm very efficient, and then all of a sudden, boosh, Edge completely drops, closes down completely, and it's just like. And when I go to open Edge, and it's not like, oh yeah, let's open up all the old browser tabs, where you just work. No, it's Edge, one browser tab, and then it's like I don't have no idea what I was just working on. It's so fucking Windows. Why do you do this to us? All right. Gentlemen, Archer, you've got the links for the New York stuff. So we're gonna talk briefly about Mamdani, the Muslim stuff within New York, and then we're gonna go more broadly on Muslims. Sharia law is getting ready to become not just a slogan, but something that these ladies are going to have to actually deal with. What do you bet they're not going to be happy about that?
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zohran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York, starts today, baby.
God, there is just something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight.
Pause.
I literally just got...
This is the problem. She voted solely to make her parents mad, not because she believed in what he does. Anyway, carry on.
No, you're 100% right, Joe. And here's the other thing. And it's not because they're for something; they're against everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's this kind of like societal nihilism that has absolutely latched on to the left, right? This is a bigger, deeper problem.
And when they treat her as a possession and eventually throw her off of a roof, she'll be whining about it. Well, not for long.
Yeah. Well. All right. Go ahead.
Goosebumps thinking about it. Like they are in such a bad mood probably about the fact that Zoran just won and Prop 50 is gonna pass. Like, wow. God, I'm sorry. It just makes me feel good that my MAGA parents are probably upset right now.
When the day starts with Dick Cheney being dead, it ends with Mamdani winning. Oh, yes. Oh.
What are they always saying?
I'm so happy. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors.
There are people out there that are actually, I think, trying to think critically about why do all these crazy millennials? Why are they doing this, right? And so there are some reasons why, and it's almost like this psychosis has been generated by the society that we've created for the last 20 years. Oh my God, it's almost like it's been engineered, right? This is an email. I just sent you the leak over in the private chat. This is an email that Peter Thiel sent to Mark Zuckerberg in January of 2020. He said, "There's many themes that could be developed more here. Let me take a few quick points for now." This is also to Nick Clegg and Antonio Lucio. I don't know those two people, but I know Mark Andreessen, and Sheryl Sandberg actually, who are on the CC line. I certainly would not suggest our policy should be to embrace millennial attitudes unreflectively. I would be the last person to advocate for socialism, but when 70% of millennials say they are pro-socialist, we need to do a better job than simply dismiss them by saying that they are stupid. Well, they are stupid and brainwashed. We should try to understand why. So this gets to the kind of the social engineering of the millennials, right? And from what perspective of a broken generation compact, there seems to be a pretty straightforward answer to me, namely that one that's too much student debt, or if housing is too unaffordable, then one will have a negative capital for a long time, or find it hard to start accumulating capital in the form of real estate. And if one has no stake in the capitalist system, then one may well turn against it. You know, I used to think that these millennials complaining about the rent's too damn high, you know, it was just like a function of just whininess and things like this. But the more I look into it, the more I think that this generation, specifically the millennial generation, has absolutely been set up, right? Whether it's the BlackRock's buying houses and artificially increasing the rate, whether it's the Biden administration inviting in willy-nilly 15 million people to compete in the job market, compete for the purchases of houses, compete for all the resources within the United States. Or it's the, you know, the student loan debt manufacturing, which did, like when I went to college, that was not a thing. Like, you know, my parents paid like for my college every semester, you know, and that's not to say that, oh, my parents are rich. No, it means it didn't cost much. It was like $1,500 check that they would write. I mean, you know, which is something that regular people could afford back then. So we, I guess, you know, we Americans have put in power governments that created this. And now it's kind of like we're reaping the whirlwind of the world that we created. I mean, so that being said, that doesn't take, you know, when somebody embraces communism or embraces this thought, that does not absolve them of any responsibility. In fact, it just makes it easier to understand why they are absolutely complicit in what they've done, because so many people are not complicit, right? There's so many millennial men now that have really kind of got their heads screwed on right. And, you know, let's be honest, it's the men of that generation that put, you know, Trump back into office. So I don't know, man. This is the biggest threat to the United States right now is woke white women.
Yes, continually. I mean, that it's been true ever since it was said by the prophet Malcolm X.
Well, and look, I've heard in recent times, I've heard a lot of people be like, "Oh, so many people ready to bash white liberal women, yet not ready to talk about like the Muslim invaders." No, we are. It's the white liberal women who prevent us from literally being able to do anything about them, right? Like that's the whole point. Is that it's like
one gives us the other.
Exactly. They are an American autoimmune disorder. That's what it is.
Real quick, I just want to say thank you to Low Key Blurt, gifted 5 subs to Future Conflict over in Rumble. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah. So anyway, that's just something that is specifically that I thought of this when I saw your video there, Watcher. So let's kind of go into. So the one is the cause, woke white women, and the other is the reaction, which is the rise of Islam. Both. No, that's not to say that they're not trying to rise all over the world. They are. That's just what's inviting them into the United States. Specifically, the most widespread international form of violent Islam are the Iranian backed networks via the kind of the backbone of that network is the Quds Force and the IRGC. And the big nodes are Hezbollah, Hamas. You got the militias, the Shia militias in Iraq. You've got the Houthis. The Houthis and the Shia militia in Iraq are mostly regional problems there, but Hezbollah and Hamas definitely have international tendrils. So let's look into this terror network here. Let's see. Since the 1976 Islamic Revolution, priorities of the Iranian regime have been exporting its revolution abroad. And because of that, right, Joe, I think that's one thing that makes the Iranians a little different. They come from a revolutionary background, right? There were Iranian communists that were very instrumental in the rise of the Iranian Revolution, but it was totally hijacked by the radical Shia clerics. So that kind of gives it a natural revolutionary fervor or structure. I mean, how would you kind of put it? Is that how you would describe
makes a good structure for the spreading of Muslim extremism, because the two go hand in hand, right? The belief that the community takes care of the believers fits in there nicely. I think that they're just two things that have gone hand in hand all along. The biggest supporter of Muslim extremism throughout the Cold War were the Marxists, whether they be actual Marxists or Maoists, but mostly the Marxists in Russia. I just think that they're two things that go hand in hand and help spread it. Iran supports that by using it as a tool, not that they actually believe in it.
Yeah, right. I think, I don't think that they adopted Marxism. What I think they did was they learned from Marxism the tools of revolution and the forms, right? Like the process of revolution, but not they like throw away the Marxism, keep the tool, right? So where that has been most successful, I think, is looking at Gaza. Now, so in full disclosure, this is an article from the American Jewish community. I wasn't here on Monday, so I got to get my Mossad Monday paycheck. I got to validate my parking with the JCs, the JCC, right? So that's the reason why anyway. Just remember, we are not pro-Israel in this show. We are pro-human, right? We are pro peaceful coexistence. We are pro-war if people don't, respect other people's right to exist, right? And so, you're not going to get some sort of Zionist point of view here on this show, but I will always stand against Muslim terrorists, and Israel, I think, has a pretty strong, argument on in their favor on this whole deal. So, all right. So where is it strongest? Well, Gaza, right, with Hamas. Basically, Hamas is a fully owned subsidiary of the IRGC. Think of it as a franchise model, right? Hamas is a Sunni Islamist terrorist organization that operates under the de facto leadership of the Gaza Strip. Founded in 1988 during the first Intifada as an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas set two long-term goals articulated in its charter: the end of the Jewish state and the creation of an Islamic state from the Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea, i.e., from the river to the sea. Its immediate goal is liberation of Palestine and the return of the Palestinian people. I didn't realize they were Roman, but I guess. Okay. Anyway. While its origins are with the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas has reportedly been funded and armed and trained by the IRGC since the early 90s. This is one of those kind of friends of convenience, right, Joe? I mean, generally you don't see too much alignment between the Sunnis and the Shias, but this is one case where the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of scenario, I guess.
They're good at hating things together. So
yeah, we hate the same people. Let's work together, and then we can kill each other once this is all over with. Iran resumed financial assistance to Hamas in 2017. Relations with Iran are excellent, and Iran is the largest supporter of the Al-Qassam brigades, which are the military wing of Hamas, with money, and in arms. A senior Hamas leader said in 2017. In 2020, the State Department reported that Iran had provided more than $100 million annually to Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Since October 7th, Israel's been systematically dismantling Hamas, as we know. In May of 2025, Mohammed Sinwar, Yahya's brother and Hamas's military leader was killed. Let's see. Ismail Hania, Hamas's top political leader, was assassinated in Tehran. And I still can't believe they did that. It's like that was pretty fucking ballsy. That was a good strike. It was a bomb under the bed, if I remember correctly. In wake of these losses, Hamas appointed some other guy as its new Gaza chief. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He'll be dead soon, probably.
Yeah,
too.
irrelevant.
Yeah, well, and so some of these Hamas trained people who have exfilled out are definitely creating nexuses within both the United States and in Central and South America in order to kind of broaden the franchise, if you will. And they've been helped out greatly by Hezbollah. Now, Hezbollah, I always kind of saw them as the more international wing of Iran's IRGC brothers. Let's see. Hezbollah, Iran's terror proxy in southern Lebanon, maintains significant and often controlling influence in the Lebanese government. Let's see. While Hezbollah calls the Middle East home, it established an extensive terror infrastructure in Europe, along with terror networks in Latin America and Africa that enables them to carry out terrorist attacks on international soil. In addition to the attack on the AMIA center in Buenos Aires in 1994 that killed 85 people, Hezbollah bombed a bus full of Israeli tourists in Bulgaria in 2012 and attempted to carry out attacks on Israelis in Cyprus. Authorities have discovered Hezbollah safe houses throughout Europe, some of which were found to contain large quantities of chemical materials used in the manufacture of powerful explosives. Let's see. In 2016, Hezbollah's General Secretary Hassan Nasrallah, burn in hell, explained the organization's budget, supplies, and weapons all come from Iran. Yeah, so of course they do, because it's literally an extension of the IRGC in Lebanon. This group, unlike the Hamas, are actually Shia rather than Sunni. Let's see. I'm just kind of getting the. So they despite being treated significantly by the Israelis, they continue to exist in Lebanon, but in nowhere near the strength. The Bekaa Valley was attacked directly, and many of their strongholds were actually destroyed, pushing the group further towards Beirut. So only time will tell where they'll end up landing. Joe, the thing that really surprised me was how easy the push into southern Lebanon was by the Israelis. I was really expecting a kind of a real slugfest the way they had it in 2006, but I mean, it was fairly uncontested, really.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I know, but can you attribute that? I mean, because I know that
I can't attribute it because I can't speak for the bad guys here.
I know. I just thought you might have some assessment, but that's all right.
No, your assessment's right. I can't believe it, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's it's kind of why I threw it to you, because I was hoping you'd have some insight that I don't have. Because they really gave Israel a hard time in 2006. You remember that's where they had all those complex ambushes with anti-tank guided missiles and things like that. I know maybe it's the drones, the heavy usage of drone now by Israel that they were able to smoke a lot of that out. Preparatory fires, I don't know. Let's see. Looking towards Iraq, you've got Katiba Hezbollah, or Party of God Brigades. And they are a radical Iraqi Shia terror group formed in 2007, trained and armed by the IRGC. So this goes back to the guys who were IRGC armed and fighting us back during the surge. Let's see. In fact, the U.S. drone attack that targeted and killed General Qassam Soleimani, commander of the IRGC's elite Quds force in Baghdad in January 2020, also killed Hezbollah's Secretary General, Khatib Hezbollah's Secretary General. He too had been sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury for committing acts of violence against Iraqi security forces and U.S.-led coalition forces in Iraq. So these guys really, their main kind of group is the Popular Mobilization Forces, and Joe, have you had any indications of them operating outside of? I mean, I've heard maybe some stuff of them going into Syria a little bit, but that's mostly. I don't think that's come up much.
Who, Hamas or Hezbollah?
No, the Popular Mobilization Forces. You know, the Khatib Hezbollah. Or Kataib.
No, other than Syria, no.
Yeah.
Hezbollah itself, yes, all over the world. But Hamas also doesn't really operate outside of Lebanon and occupied territories, with the exception of, glances around the room, Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah,
it's not even a joke. I mean, they literally have fundraising arms in Dearborn.
Well, that's the guy. This guy who was arrested, was it this past weekend? Has connections to
these
Hamas.
Guys. More than
one. Is it multiple? I keep thinking of the one guy that they had the picture of.
No, 3 in Dearborn, and then a couple in other parts of the country. So
let's see. They've got a Syrian branch. We've got the Yemen, of course, Ansar Allah, or the Houthis. We all know about those guys. They've got a wing in Pakistan. They've got a wing in Afghanistan. Let's see. Bahrain, they have. And they even have people in Saudi Arabia. What? Hezbollah al-Haraz as a cleric-based Shia militant group and Saudi opposition movement. In 2001, the U.S. sanctioned 4 leaders.
Well, are they talking about Iran's external operations or Hezbollah originally? Let me remind you, the party that took over the United States Embassy and eventually overthrew the government in Iran was called the Party of God, or Hezbollah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So what these groups are doing is they're taking that name Hezbollah. So Lebanon, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia all have their own Hezbollah named groups, but they are not, they're not one group, but they are all franchises of this Iranian, madness, I guess. Anyway, so just to give you a primer on who the players are in the Iranian terror. And those are, while you have Al Qaeda, while you have ISIS in America, I'm sure of this. The ones that have been generating the most kind of buzz, and especially after we bombed Iran, were the Iranian-backed terrorists. So speaking of Hamas, weapons cache linked into Hamas found in Vienna by Austria's intelligence service. Is it me or this guy saying, "Oh, Jesus Christ! What did I thought we were neutral? Austria's neutral. Why are you coming after us?"
Austria's not neutral.
Well, they're not a member of NATO.
That doesn't make them neutral.
I know, but I'm thinking from the NATO standpoint. They're neutral.
They're part of Western society, therefore.
From the standpoint of Islam, they are not. They are an enemy. Yeah, 100%.
Most people are shocked to find that Austria has an intelligence service, But listen, Österreich has its own in its own right. So absolutely, this is not surprising to me. Weapons caches have been found throughout Europe in mosques linked to various groups. Hamas claims this is not their weapons and the guy is not theirs, but I don't think that the Austrian intelligence service would claim it without a positive link.
Yeah, right. I think that this is one of those kind of things where it's probably pretty damn certain. Let's see. A 39-year-old unidentified British citizen allegedly having close ties to the weapons cache was arrested in London on Monday. The Interior
British citizen in air quotes. Because you notice it doesn't say a British-born person. It says
100%.
Citizen. There's a world of difference there.
You got to remember, this is the AP, right? They are obfuscating. This is misinformation at the highest level.
Correct.
According, if they said he wasn't, Islamic or something like that, that would be disinformation. But what they're doing is they're misdirecting you, right? Let's see. Was arrested in London on Monday. The Interior Ministry statement said, according to the current state of the investigation, Israeli or Jewish institutions in Europe were likely to be targets of these attacks. The weapons cache and the suspects were part of an internationally coordinated investigation by the country's Directorate for State Security and Intelligence Service, or DSN, into a global terrorist organization with ties to Hamas. Hamas. Or Iran, essentially, was what you're saying. In the course of the investigation, the ministry said its intelligence service found suspicions that a group had brought weapons into Austria to use into the possible attack. Let's see. On these occasions, Mohammed took over 5 handguns and ammunition from Abed, where he then transported the weapons to Austria and stored them in Vienna. These actions served to prepare a terrorist attack on Israeli or Jewish facilities in Germany. After his extradition from Great Britain, the subject will be brought to an investigative judge at the Federal Court of Justice in Germany. What do you bet that these guys all get let go, or they get like a slap on the hand sentence, and a year from now they're on their way back to England or wherever it is they call home? Because, Joe, it would be against their civil rights to deport them back to their Muslim countries. Because
right. That would be they must remain in the West.
That's right. In a statement at the time, Hamas denied having any connections. Oh no, we didn't do it. No.
Well, if Hamas says they didn't do it,
I know, right? Those guys they never lie. They always tell the truth.
Straight up guys.
That's right. The group carried out hundreds of attacks against Israeli civilians over the years, but it's rarely operated outside Israel and the Palestinian territories. Well, I mean, that's because they're getting crushed right now. So they're looking for any kind of opportunity to create a dilemma for Israel they can.
The truth is they've never been caught operating outside of Israel. That's not the same thing.
That's a great point, Joe. We never know how many mysterious murders or accidents or things like that were maybe caused by these guys. And now remember, if they are Hamas, then they are also essentially IRGC or Quds Force, which opens up a lot of talent, if you will. Britain's International Crime Agency confirmed on Thursday that the 39-year-old was arrested in central London on Monday by specialist officers from the NCAA National Extradition Unit. And of course, they don't mention anything other than say he is a British person. Yeah, I'm sure this, Joe, this may be one of those ginger-haired converts. Oh, boy. All right, moving on. What a dummy I am. All right, sorry, I closed the show prep tab. So it's not just in Europe. Federal government hits Dallas Muslim leader with terror-related civil complaint, complicating bond fight. At a hearing on Thursday, the federal government hit Marwan Maroof with a new civil court complaint. It includes claims that he supported a terrorist organization. His family and legal team denied these claims, having filed a petition on federal immigration court trying to get him out on board while the legal process plays out. You know, Joe, if you are a Muslim leader in America, even at the most local level, you are probably being supported by CARE, right? I mean, CARE probably spent most of the money that helped Mondami get elected. And we all know. I mean, we know, but I guess most other people don't because if they knew, they certainly wouldn't let CARE operate in the U.S. I'm sure that they are essentially a financial, political branch of the Muslim Brotherhood in the United States.
Yes. I mean, I thought that everyone knew that. But there's also other ones like the Muslim Children's Charity in Dearborn, for whatever reason, I can't think of it. Access, the Arab Community Services, all of these things are literally just ways to gather money that go into these political campaigns and get funneled back to Hamas and Hezbollah. Any charity, especially the Holy Land Foundation, has been one forever, right? They're all out there. So, they all fund money back into these programs.
Yeah.
Mamdani's election is as much a Hezbollah program and an Iranian program as any American political parties.
Yeah, what did we hear about his mom, like something, or his grandmother or something like that? If she's a 12er or something?
Watcher.
I don't know if you remember that, Watcher.
It turns out. Sorry, I looked into it after I was in. Not his.
Watcher, we can't hear you.
Oh, hold on. Better.
It's hard to. Yeah, better.
Okay, so yeah, not his mom. His mom, I forgot, is Hindu. It's his dad. His dad is a Muslim, and his dad is a 12er.
Oh, well, I mean, Joe, you know better than I do. What's a good kind of...
Well, there's a belief that the 12th Imam is coming back to rule the world. It's an Islamic messiah, but the vast majority of Shia are 12ers. So
yeah,
the Iranians are 12ers. So
yeah, it has something to do with Ali, and I can't remember exactly how all that. I mean, it's hard for me to
out of the well.
Yeah, it's hard for me to remember all this fucking Muslim lore because I'm just not that interested in it. But hey,
yeah,
I'm interested in it exactly as much as I am in any other cult.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm interested in it about it as much as Thomas Jefferson was interested in it, insofar as we need to understand it so we understand how these people work.
Yes, right. You to the extent I need to understand my enemy. Yes, that's how much. I don't need to learn their language. I don't need to learn their customs and all that kind of stuff. I just need to learn.
I don't know. A Sunni kills you just as dead as a 12er. So, if you worship Allah, you are my enemy. And that's not Islamophobia. That's biblical.
Are you referring to somebody in the chat?
No,
he's referring to ours. Facts. No, I completely agree with you. But what I mean is that there may be some distinct things in their own ideology which allow you to manipulate and or destroy your enemy. That's all.
Yeah, that's, to that extent, that's all I need to know. All right. Decades-old charity donations block bond. The HLF stands for the Holy Land Foundation. Joe, we were just talking about this organization a few weeks ago, if I remember correctly. The Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, a prominent Islamic charity based out of Richardson. If I remember correctly, that's one that's directly tied to CARE, and it directly funds Hamas. That charity was shut down by the federal government in 2001, which accused it of supporting Hamas terrorists. Maroof legally entered the United States as a student back in 91 and was later sponsored on a work visa. He was detained by ICE last month on the same day of his application of the green card was denied. His legal team has filed a petition in federal court in an effort to get him released on bond. Family denies claims. What they're saying is Malouf's legal team denied any wrongdoing by their client. We received bad news in court today. We are going to regroup. Well, I mean, let's be honest. This guy is fucking. He did it. He supported Hamas back in the 90s, and that's just as good a reason as any to deny him a green card, and then, oh, by the way, deport him. I think we got a brand new tent put up in Gaza just for him.
Yeah, well, as long as we're on Mamdani as well. Mamdani also praises the Holy Land Five, who are guys who got charged in a very similar thing. Also, guys from New York, five who Muslim leaders from New York who were charged for material support of terrorism for sending money to Hamas.
I mean, heaven forbid we not like people who like terrorists.
Yeah.
Let's move on. So here's the thing, right? Just because you're not a Muslim doesn't mean they aren't after you. In fact, they are exactly after people like us, right? They are looking for, the wayward. And this is where the leftists, right, Joe? The leftists actually provide the largest potential pool of new recruits. You take you take the wayward youth who's in debt, who hates the government, who's told that Republicans did this to him, right? You take that guy, he becomes an Antifa dude. He goes and starts hanging out at Free Palestine protests, and these young Muslim men that he meets there are a lot of passion. They've got something that they stand for, and they say, "Hey, listen, no big deal. Why don't you come and we'll teach you about why we've been why we're out here fighting, right?" And that's the kind of guy who's a perfect pawn or a perfect useful idiot to become swept up in Muslim, fervor, if you will. Tables are being set up at University of North Florida to convert Americans to an Islam. Muslims have documentation to show Americans that Islam is not oppressive to women, amongst other things. So what you have are two young women who, and not what you'd call attractive, but two young women here saying, "Oh no, it's great for women." College campuses are converting Americans to Islam. So let's play the video there, watcher.
Should we be stoning the gays?
Well,
should we be killing and taxing the non-believers?
It's not okay. So
I'm asking you.
there's laws to it. Islam literally translates to peace. It's a religion of peace.
Islam does not translate to peace.
It does.
How's it going? No thanks. Hi, what's up?
Hello.
What's
We're
up?
the Muslim Student Association.
Cool. Do we all speak Arabic here?
She speaks Arabic, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to encourage here today?
We're just spreading Islam and trying to destigmatize like misconceptions around Muslims and what people think of us and what the media shows them. We're trying to change that.
Okay.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
But what about Islam do you want to change the public perception of?
Things that were violent, that Islam is oppressive with women, that we hate Jesus, a bunch of misconceptions like that. We're trying to change it. Islam literally translates to peace. It's a religion of peace.
Islam does not translate to peace.
It does.
The word Islam translates to submission to the will of Allah.
No.
It does. It does.
No.
You know this.
The word Islam translates to peace.
But that's what it means.
That's
what
it means.
Islam
Religion
means
itself.
Submission to the will of Allah.
Yes.
You know that, right? So
itself
it means submission to the will of Allah, not peace.
But the word Islam translates to peace.
No, that's salam.
Just admitted she doesn't get Arabic, but she's going to argue with him about an Arabic word.
That's right. She doesn't speak. The other girl speaks Arabic, and she is.
That's what other girls like. I ain't saying nothing because he's right.
She's like, oh shit.
And listen, she says that we're trying to defeat the misconception that it's oppressive to women, as she stands there with her head covered because it requires her.
In a culture where this is actively not encouraged.
And I'll be honest, in an actual Islamic culture, she wouldn't be allowed to speak to that man.
Yeah. All right, we got a little more of this, a little more nonsense here.
From what?
Salam.
Peace.
Salam, exactly, that's peace.
It's not.
Islam is submission.
It's the religion of peace. That's the point.
I mean, I think she's getting the tagline confused with the translation of the actual word. The tagline is religion of peace, but it doesn't mean peace. All right. I mean, even a big dumb, Miguk Saddam like me knows that salam is peace in Arabic. All right. Let's move on. So I guess this guy went by one too many tables of Muslim women beckoning him in college because he got converted. And oh shit, it's another ginger convert.
Is he British?
Why, yes, he is.
there
A
it
self-styled Anglo jihadi has been found guilty of planning a terror. So this is, I mean, I think this goes to show us that the genders truly have no souls because they're so easily duped by the con artists of the Western religious world into joining them. When you have no soul, you have a big vessel to fill. I'm sorry. Just kind of leaning into the South Park meme. All right. Anyway, Muslim convert Jordan Richardson, 21 of Oliver Close, Howden, East Yorkshire, was planning an atrocity with possible targets to include Meadowhall Shopping Centre near Sheffield. A trial in Leeds Crown Court heard. He also regularly expressed the wish to kill Jews. He joked about going into a synagogue wearing a suicide vest, prosecutors said. Richardson was convicted on charges of preparing for acts of terrorism, the collection of information likely to be useful to the persons committed to preparing an act of terrorism or distributing terrorism publications. Not surprising. I mean, if I'm honest.
Want to feel old for a second?
Yeah.
Kid was born in 2004.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's the year I went to Iraq.
And that's the problem, right? People said they would never forget, and yet Mandami was elected. There's this very similar case out of Idaho with another kid converted to Islam, was going to plan an attack, and was arrested last month.
Yeah.
This has been a goal of Al-Qaeda forever, to recruit Westerners to do their work for them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I tell you, it's especially heartbreaking in England because, and the thing, we kind of say, oh, well, fuck England, they had their chance, they've lost it, obviously, no skin off of our chin, right? But let's be honest, I don't care for the royal family, but I do feel some connection to England as my cultural heritage goes back to there. So I hate to see people who are potentially distant cousins of mine creating a fucking hellscape of their own creation and then just sitting in it because there are hard men, right? Previous generations that fought really fucking hard for everything that England had, and they're not happy about it. So play the next video here. You'll know at the end when the kind of the significant, because in the end they go to, oh, we got a gift for you or whatever. Just cut that part out because it's stupid.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for And what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now it's darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service.
You can't possibly hate journalists enough. It is not physically possible for the human body to contain enough hate for even a single journalist. The absolute representation of the female busybody class that is stripping exactly what he's talking about away from everyone, telling him how sorry she feels. Oh, but she really appreciates his sacrifice. I
listen, he doesn't have any room for it on his jacket, but give that man another medal for saying what needed to be said
on British television, and that's not GBTV or whatever. You know,
no, you can get arrested for saying what he says, right?
Right.
That's bravery right there. And you know what? His point is, I'm almost dead anyway. I'm gonna say whatever I want, and we need more people like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and it's not just the Muslim thing, right? I mean, if you look at England, they put more people in prison for social media posts than China and Russia combined. And none of us think that China and Russia are countries to be emulated when it comes to the practices of freedom of speech. So what does that tell you about modern Britain?
Well, it's also no mistake that they've waited until most of that generation died off before they began this scheme, right? Or were well beyond fighting age, because that generation would never have tolerated the world as it is now. That's why it was called the greatest generation, right? And I don't know. I can't do enough to honor that man's memory, and it makes me feel guilty for not having done more. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I mean, can you imagine though, Joe, going to like a place like Arlington and looking at the rows of tombstones and thinking it wasn't fucking worth it?
Yeah, because I've been there and I've felt.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, to articulate that, because I still think that there's enough of America left to kind of keep the flame going into the future, for my kids and, for the next generation and all that kind of stuff. I'm just not there yet. Like, I still think America can be saved, but like, I think the UK is literally too far gone. The only way the UK comes back is through a revolutionary effort that basically destroys the modern United Kingdom and turns it into some new successor country that's going to have to be built on very different rules to keep what's happened in that country from ever happening again.
So the problem with Britain is that, unlike the U.S., their war dead are buried all over the world rather than in one grand place, right? They don't have an Arlington, so to speak. So you can't go there and illustrate that to a child and say, look at all these people who died for what you have now and for this stupid sheet of paper right here that you all think is idiotic, but to me is God inspired and one of the best contracts ever written, right? The Bill of Rights and the Constitution. But I think that every American should have to go to Arlington at least once, preferably as they're a young adult, right? And see that. And I know that a lot of people probably roll their eyes at me for this, but you can't be unmoved and stand at Arlington. I think you'll agree with that, Scott. And I don't know if you've been there longer, but you can't. And my wife went along with me, and she wanted to see it. She'd never been there. She didn't expect it to be as moving as it was. And what probably got her was, as soon as we stepped off the bus, there was a squad of Marines in dress blues prepping for a funeral of one of their brothers. And that set her off at the beginning, but it did set the tone for the day. And you want to honor that memory. So from there, I took her to the other memorials that moved me: Korean War Memorial, Vietnam War Memorial, all of the others. But to me, the one that really hits home, and I know it does to you too, is the Korean War Memorial, and not because of a particular tie to Korea, but because of the memorial itself. And the memorial is a group of soldiers moving on a patrol in the rain. They're all wearing ponchos and whatever. And it's just, it's one of those things that just moves you and makes you want to honor that sacrifice. And you look around at where we are today, and more importantly, where the UK is today and where France is today, who were traditionally our brothers in arms. You can make fun of the French for surrendering all you want. There were Frenchmen who fought the entire time and did a fine job of it. And in the modern world, the French military is not something to laugh at. But to see where they've all fallen, and it makes you very angry, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, let's assume, like, I don't have connections to France the way I do England. Like, as far as, like, you know, my family is, you know, like, one half is Scotch Irish and the other half is English, right? And so I've got direct familial connections to that country. I don't have those connections to France, but I still feel bad for, you know, France is one of those countries that still has a very capable military that's able to still kind of take care of business internationally, but they don't do it at home.
Right.
And I feel bad for those soldiers, those French soldiers, you know, whether they're Foreign Legion guys who are some of the best, or they're just the honest French soldier who's does what he's told and fights the good fight, right? And there's a lot of solid military leaders in France. The problem is they don't have the Republican government model that we have. They don't have the kind of the right of the civilian, you know, for whether it's speech, like the Bill of Rights or anything like that. None of that is absolutely held the way it is. Hell, they don't even have British common law to fall back on as far as, you know, things. They just have the République, you know, like these kind of almost mythological structures that France, you know, and those mythological structures are not going to fucking save them this time.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So I wanted to show you that kind of, I think it's very touching what this guy says. Because he's literally like I don't want to live anymore because, you know, this country that I gave so much of my life for is basically, it's gone. It's not, you know, it's not my country anymore. Right. So I appreciate where he's coming from. Now, if you don't believe him, let's listen to somebody else who kind of had a more contemporary view of where Islam is going, specifically in the American context. And I think this will also be rather poignant just by who it is.
In Islam, in the verses, you are allowed to lie, you are allowed to deceive in front of God as long as it advances the aims and goals of Islam. Foreign concept to those of us as Christians. Because what is the ultimate value claim of Christianity? It is truth. Because our Lord and Savior is truth, and truth became flesh. At the top of all of it, it is truth. In Islam, it is not truth. Truth is not the ultimate Islamic value. It's not. It's power. It's domination, subjugation, conquest. You see, we are called to make disciples of all nations by winning them over, by converting them with songs, praise, teaching, scripture, prayer. Islam is taking over by force. There's a reason why it is a religion of the sword. In Islam, in the...
It's true.
I mean...
Related but not related, if you want to cover it. I do have a breaking thing that relates to Mr. Kirk in the private chat. I'd scan that before you say yes or no.
Is this? Oh yeah. I saw this earlier today. I mean, if you weren't kind of already not a big fan of the of a certain element within Ukraine, this would actually tip your hand there. Yeah. It's got the subtitles. We address Erica Kirk. If you repeat what your husband said, call to cede Ukrainian territory to Russia, and stop providing aid to Ukraine, you will die just like your husband. And then he butt strokes the mannequins. Watch your neck, Erica. So, I mean,
yeah. Hey, look, I'm not even going to play around with this. I believe U.S. assets on the ground should neutralize those individuals within like a very short time frame.
Well, I mean, the good news is that one guy doesn't even have sights on his gun. The one on the right. So
none of them do. No, none of the three do.
Well, no, the AKs have got sights built into them. The other one's got an M4 with a clean rail on top. So,
yeah.
Oh boy,
talk tough.
Yeah. Anyway, it's that's Anyway, I just thought
it's Ukrainians being Ukrainians. Shock.
It is
horror.
Yeah.
Oh
look, no, look, we've said this since day one. I'm sorry. There is no excuse for it, and I have said from day one we will regret allying with these people.
I mean, that's what they really are.
Yeah, this is that whole you give these people opportunities, and they'll take the mask off for you and show you who they really are.
And I see there are people saying, are they even who they're purporting to be? Listen, if you go back and you look at the history of Ukrainian forces, these comments are not new. They say it about all kinds of people. They had a kill list for a long time of American reporters and politicians who weren't towing the line.
Oh, that never went away. They just stopped talking about it.
Yeah, they just stopped talking about it. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's shift gears. And let's move over to Venezuela because, Joe, the only thing that's surprising to me about this whole Venezuela thing is that it hasn't kicked off yet. But you know how American operations are. They try not to do it, and I'll give the Trump administration credit when he has used the military. There's usually it's kind of like there may be hints beforehand, but then it'll go quiet for a period, and then all of a sudden it'll happen, right? So they do a pretty good job of the kind of the dodge and weave when it comes to telegraphing their first move. But you can't move that kind of combat power into position without everybody knowing about it. So I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened yet. But it's just the longer it stays there, the more I'm convinced it's there to act.
Yeah. This is one of those conflicts that's going to burn in the background for a little bit and then go hot. I will remind you that prior to the invasion of Panama in 1989, there was about 90 days of conflict at the Arion tank farm on Rodman Naval Air Base between U.S. forces, Panamanian forces, and Cuban forces. So it's not that we're still on the same Noriega plan, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the other thing too, which we've also seen some hints that there may be some cartel action in the future for our military, and so these positions that they're in would not be would not be the craziest places for them to jump off against any of the east coast of Mexico based cartels, or even go into so far as central Mexico, and given the invective by the Jewish president of Mexico, who is also owned by the cartels, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised if we did basically a 90-degree turn and went straight into Mexico instead of Venezuela. But I think Venezuela definitely has has the rose pinned on them right now. This is a Guardian article. U.S. strikes another alleged drug boat, bringing the death toll from the campaign in Latin America to 70 dead narco terrorists. Thank you, Jesus. U.S. strikes have destroyed at least 18 vessels, but Washington has yet to make it public or any concrete evidence that targets posed a threat to America.
Which is false, by the way. They have shown several videos and several analysis showing exactly what's on these boats. So that's a false statement.
Well, they even pulled one of them over the other day.
Yeah.
And it had like 5,000 pounds of cocaine on it, and, or fentanyl or whatever it was that was on it. And I was just like, they're just upset. Well, why can't you arrest these people? Why should you arrest these people? Where are you going to fucking try them for? You seize their boat in open water. It's kind of, it's a murky situation to begin with. Blowing them up is actually the most, expeditious way to handle this.
And what do you charge them with when you catch them on the open sea with drugs? Okay, they're illegal to possess. What law applies outside of the 12-mile limit?
Yeah.
None. So the best thing you could do is what we've traditionally done with pirates, which is what these people are, and that's send them to the bottom.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me get into this. U.S. forces struck another illegible. Okay. The U.S. began to carry out such strikes.
Squiffy. The fish around Latin America must be swimming like lightning right now.
Let's see. Hegseth released footage on X of the latest strike, which he said took place in international waters like the previous strikes and targeted a vessel operated by a designated terrorist organization. To our narco-terrorists who threatened our homeland, if you want to stay alive, stop trafficking drugs. If you keep trafficking deadly drugs, we will kill you. I think they probably have some pretty good human that is literally like feeding them every one of these boats. And they're probably taking pictures. So it's sources and methods that keep them from being able to release all the information and the evidence that they have.
Yeah, I guarantee you they're saying, hey, man, $5,000 per boat you report.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be solid stuff. And for the record, for the person who said that I just opened a beer, no, I did not. Sorry.
I mean, it's after midnight or afternoon somewhere, Joe.
That's true. You can't drink all day if you don't get started early.
That's exactly right. I mean, that would be you going back to your marine roots. But a white monster is actually way more in line with what you would.
I've been called a white monster enough that it's going to own it.
Amen, brother. All right. Anyway, so another one of these boats sunk. Another kind of notch in the bedpost for us heading towards the war in Venezuela. And oh, by the way, if you are curious, let's see if my internet will handle. I'm gonna turn my camera back on. I don't know about you guys, but I was having some trouble with my my connection, so I turned my video off for a while, but it seems like it's better now. All right. Here we go. This is another Guardian. Let's see. Drug trafficking, extortion, and kidnapping. The lawless rush for rare earth minerals in Venezuela. Wait a second. I thought Venezuela was a peaceful country and didn't deserve any of this. Now it's a lawless country where there's a competition for... That's interesting. Hey, Joe, look at the camo that guy's got on in the background. That guy is Venezuelan wearing Russian camo.
I think Joe might have stepped away for just a second.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Guerrilla groups have seized control of mining areas, exploiting indigenous peoples and fueling environmental. Oh, well, now it's okay to if you can save the indigenous people and stop them from exploiting environmental situations, then yeah, I mean that would be worth. Joe, I mean, Watcher, wouldn't you feel better about our military action if they were saving the environment and the indigenous people?
Oh, certainly, yes. That's that is what military action is famous for doing. Is rejuvenating environments and preserving indigenous culture.
By the way, I just wanted to let you know this is a propaganda piece. This is paid sponsored content. So, Open Society Foundation about this content, words and photos. So I just wanted to point that out at the top of the story if you were curious about why anybody would care about this. But the point is they're literally making an argument for a reason to go into Venezuela that has nothing to do with the American argument as to why we're going to go into Venezuela. Wouldn't it be funny if when the press secretary comes up to give the briefing after we start bombing and invading Venezuela that she talks about how we're doing it to save the indigenous people and the environment? I think that would be fucking pretty like hoisted by their own petard type of situation.
Yeah. Nothing new for them, though.
Let's see, real quick, live over in the Rumble live chat, random PNW guy 84 for $10. Sorry to go back driving and just pulled over hearing Joe talk about Arlington, the Vietnam War and the Korean War memorials. It begs the question, GWAT Memorial win? Yeah, I don't know. I've heard rumblings of that. I wonder what they'll do if they'll do a separate Afghanistan and a separate Iraq one or what.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I had never thought of that.
Have you been to the World War II Memorial? That one's actually really awesome, I think.
Which the one in D.C.?
Yeah. The one right there by the Washington Monument at the end of the reflecting pool.
So I'll be honest with you. My experience with the nation's capital and the wonders therein boils down to I once had a traveling sales job that took me to Northern Virginia, and one night after I got off work at 9, I drove up to the Capitol, and I got there by like 11, and so I got to drive by stuff in the middle of the night and look at things. So I probably drove by it, but that's about as far as I go.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people aren't as familiar, but it's all that stuff is worth going to see. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I would go while we have somebody friendly in the in the office, especially now that they've got the guard kind of making the place.
Yeah, man. No, yeah, I was gonna say if I could afford it, now would be the time to go. Back then wasn't terrible, but it still wasn't good.
You got another 2 years. You got another 2 years, and your situation could be very different 2 years from now. So.
No, it's true. I've got multiple different businesses that could all swing drastically, and if that does happen, I'd love to do it. It'd be great. Although I'll be honest, DC's probably not first on my list. Probably. A little spot near in North Carolina near Asheville is probably my first spend money spot.
Brother, if I were you, I wouldn't. As much as I'd love to go to where you're talking about too, the first place I would take my family is someplace with a sandy coast.
Oh yeah, no. See, we'd probably just take the kids back to see the family. Because we haven't been back to see mom and dad in like 2-3 years. And yeah, the kids love the cabin. So yeah, we'd do that. But yeah, man. I don't know.
Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah, watch us find out if it is. All right. Let's see. Let's tee up the next one here. This is that Politico article. Senate sinks measure to block military action against Venezuela. Whoa, the Senate is this a backhanded approval of military action in Venezuela? Is that what I see here?
Did they sink it? I'm confused. What do they mean by sink? Do they mean like in golf or like in naval terms?
Sinks, as in like. Kills a measure to block military action against Venezuela.
See, I missed the double negative.
All right. The Senate on Thursday rejected legislation that would have required approval from Congress before President Donald Trump could take military action. So here's the deal. If Donald Trump wants, he's got the War Powers Act. And so he can do whatever he wants by law, not necessarily by the Constitution. There are a lot of really strong arguments that say that the War Powers Act is, in fact, unconstitutional. But when Congress are being dickheads, it gets awful hard. And the president is ultimately doing what I agree with. It's hard for me to argue those fully and strenuously. Just 2 Republicans broke rank to oppose Trump. The 49-51 vote is the second failed bid in a month to rein in the U.S. military campaign against the suspected drug trafficking vessels in Latin America that he has led. That has led to the deaths of nearly 70 people. War power skeptics made no headway from their last push. The same 2 Republicans supported the resolution that voted for a similar one calling for a halt to Trump's boat strikes. The measure focused on preventing future operations within or against Venezuela and reflected concerns that Trump's offense against cartels could spiral into military confrontation with the South American nation. The sponsor, Tim Kaine, what a fucking idiot that guy is, argued that the administration's legal rationale for boat strikes rests on an expansive view of presidential power that has no support in the Constitution and would be extremely flimsy. Joe, I have a hard time listening to any fucking argument that the modern Democrats give me when they invoke the Constitution, even if it's a good argument, just because of the person who's invoking it. It's somebody who literally doesn't believe in the Constitution. That being said, it doesn't mean
they hate the Constitution. They think it needs to be written, and they constantly want to override the Second Amendment, and yet they want to talk about the Constitution.
Right.
And even Barack Obama famously said once, "There's so much I want to do, but the Constitution won't let me."
Won't let me. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
That's the entire point of the Constitution, then, sir.
And so here's the deal. I get where Rand Paul's coming from, because despite the fact that I can't argue strongly from the constitutionality or the unconstitutionality of Trump's actions, he continues to be, let's be honest, fairly consistent when it comes to this type of activity.
Yes, as long as you're not talking about taking away his pay during a government shutdown.
No. I'm talking about like when it comes to military kind of. I'm only speaking about his votes on military activity. He's been fairly consistent with these types of votes, but ultimately, like, these are the kind of votes that basically make Republicans have to do, things like, hey, we just need to get rid of the go to the nuclear option. You're right, for various things. Now, this is not a case where you would need the nuclear option, but ultimately, Lisa Murkowski, who is basically a Democrat, and Rand Paul, who is a libertarian conservative, these 2 folks are consistently, causing trouble for Congress, for the president's agenda on a lot of things, and he's doing the same thing. If I remember correctly, is it Rand Paul that's voting against the budget?
Safe bet. When has he voted for the budget? Look, again, there's some things that I can say, hey, kudos on. He's the only one who's ever talked seriously about cutting the budget, although it's easy to talk seriously about it when no one will actually do it. But then again, somebody introduced a measure just the other day saying, hey, we don't think Senate and Congress should be getting paid if the government is shut down. And hey, guess who voted against it?
Right. Well, the problem is there's this cabal of basically left-wing Republicans, Murkowski, Collins, and Todd Young in Indiana, who all kind of they collude on their vote. And 2 of them will go with. So they held off on casting their votes, discussing the issue with each other, fellow senators and staff on the floor. Collins eventually cast her vote against the resolution, giving the opponents the decisive 50th vote to defeat it, followed by Young, who then made it 51. So that was 51 against, 49 for. Republicans who opposed the measure argue that the administration has legal authority to stem the flow of illegal narcotics into the United States, and that they said an invasion of Venezuela, it wasn't in the offing, despite a massive military buildup of ships, aircraft, and military personnel in the Caribbean that would pressure Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to leave power. Now, let me be honest with you, Joe. I think what the perfect scenario that the Trump administration is hoping for is that Maduro basically says no mas and gives himself up. How do he goes to the U.S. embassy or, in one of these neighboring countries and then turns himself in. I think that's what they're hoping for.
That's what they're hoping, but Maduro's never going to do that. He's a Latin American. At best, he may run to Moscow or run to Havana, but he is not ever going to surrender to the United States. He's not taking the Noriega route.
Yeah, no, it's well. You're right. He's going the Noriega route, right? I mean, I think that's what you said.
Noriega
right?
eventually surrendered.
Well, yeah, but not until his country was invaded. He wasn't it famously he went in that Catholic church and was like, and they basically played heavy metal music.
Yeah.
Until he basically tapped out.
But Maduro wouldn't even do that. He would flee.
Yeah. He'd probably go in the jungle. Chris, I got your donation. Note here's a little for the 9-volt battery fund. That was $6.26 via PayPal. Thank you, brother.
It was literally a bug, and I literally killed it.
Yeah,
that's where I vanished. So.
I was gonna say the problem is it's organic, which makes it even harder than a 9-volt.
Oh, I know. All right. Let's go to the next one here.
But hey, if you want to make donations, we will accept them all.
Speaking of bland, Paul.
Yeah, let's hear what he has to say on this.
Let's give him his opportunity. For decades, the globalists in Washington have led our country into one disastrous foreign war after another. Whether in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and now potentially Venezuela. The formula is always the same. Proclaim that the regime of the targeted country poses such a threat to the American way of life that the only thing we can do is go to war. Tell them that our intervention is a noble effort, one that will bring security at home and liberty to foreign lands, topple the government, and declare a new age of freedom. The warmongers have recycled these experiments in regime change again and again. And what has it brought? Instability, chaos, suffering, and resentment. It is the height of arrogance to think we can forcibly remove the dictatorship in Venezuela and expect a different result. We should learn from history. Liberty cannot be imposed at the point of a foreign bayonet. The United States maintains the most formidable military in human history.
Pause. Hey, so this is how you know he's being disingenuous at this point. Because what basically he's saying is that the reason he's doing this is to bring freedom and regime change, right? Like these kind of like neocon kind of ideas. What he's specifically doing is exactly what we did with Noriega. They're identifying Maduro specifically as a criminal element. And then now, maybe there is some neocon stuff under the surface, but they're putting the right dressing on it to make it palpable for like an actual reason to go in there. And with limited objectives, like, okay, once we kill him or then we're out. We could potentially do all this with airstrikes, and then it's up to the people of Venezuela to figure out the way forward, just as long as it doesn't have anything to do with drugs and hopefully not communism.
So
go ahead,
Let
Joe.
me say a couple of things here. As a Marine, I have to object to this man's physical appearance. Okay, if you're going to wear a tie tack that holds your tie in its proper place, you should probably secure the tie in the proper place. I don't know what's going on there, but Marines, we believe in the gig line, right? Straight line down, everything, belt buckle, zipper, tie, all of it in a straight line. This is not what's going on here. And he's wearing a watch on his left wrist. I can never trust a man who wears a watch on his left wrist. It's just a thing.
I wouldn't say... I agree. Chat says just like Iraq. I wouldn't say just like Iraq. We started Iraq by saying that we were going to go in and nation build. That was literally on everybody's lips from the moment we came in. We're not talking about going in and nation building in Venezuela. We're talking about killing a dude who has been killing more Americans per year than basically the entire Iraq war, I believe.
Well, it's a giant attack the network mission, right? And the network is the drug network that's being, and so yes. Here's the thing: I don't think that Maduro's a kingpin. I think Maduro is somebody who's getting paid a shit ton of money in order to allow them to. Yeah, he's a facilitator, right?
But ultimately,
so,
he's the key holder, though. Like he's the one who you'd have to replace to get rid of these guys.
No, 100%. He is the guy that you have to go to basically make all this stop. So you got to get rid of him. But then you also have to get rid of the drug network, right? So what they're not talking about is like, going after political cadres. I'll be honest with you. I think once the Venezuelan people have a little bit of breathing room, they'll take care of the political cadres on their own. Yeah, I've seen that. Joe, I've seen their hand-to-hand combat training. I don't feel like they rate a whole lot of.
Now those were Nigerian troops, not Venezuelan. But listen, that you raise an interesting point, because the training that the Venezuelan forces receive is not the same as the rest of the world. When you work for an oppressive regime, your training is focused heavily on civil disturbances and cowing an unarmed populace. Not the same as combat against a major peer level force or above your level force, right? They did some amphibious training recently to try and get up to speed, and it didn't go as well as they had thought that it would. So interesting.
Yeah. So essentially, and let's see, we've got some. Did my links make it in here?
Hold on. Can I address Cervix Hammer's
comment? I'm not going to let that pass either.
Because here's the deal, man. Some things are worth dying for. Some things are not. Right? And stopping and preventing the deaths of millions of more Americans to drugs, just worth risking my life over.
Again, let's not twist what the old man said, shall we? Did he say that the war was wrong? No. What he said was, what you asshole liberals have done post the war, i.e., I don't know, allow millions of drug dealers to come into your country and poison your people and utterly destroy yourselves while you import millions of the same kind. It's almost as if that's the type of thing a man like that would think the military is deservedly useful for, and not using it for that is exactly what he's lamenting.
Yeah. So just because the military should not be used for everything doesn't mean it doesn't have uses. And securing our safety against an enemy in the Western Hemisphere is absolutely the kind of thing the military was designed to be used for. Now, I will be the first to admit that if they go beyond the scope of a narrow strike that goes after specific targets, I'm not for that, right? I am not interested in any kind of occupation. Now, if this lady who just got the Nobel Peace Prize pops up in Venezuela, surrounded by a bunch of former generals and loyal officers who are ready to follow her and to put a Republican Jeffersonian democracy into place in Venezuela, which is not going to happen. But if this were to happen, I'm all for it, right? I'd be okay with us, doing the old partner, special operations to help with, with typical special forces type missions in a Central South American country. I would be all for that.
Also, he says, my argument is our big problems here at home. This one directly impacts one of the big problems here at home, as opposed to fighting for democracy in Afghanistan, which was never going to work. This one actually does directly impact problems at home.
Hey, Cervix Hammer, let me just kind of go back to kind of my when it comes to my principles on what I think Americans' actual interests are, it goes to oil, China, and then ultimately the Western Hemisphere, right? And so by not policing the Western Hemisphere, which can mostly be done without any military, right? Most of that kind of comes down to soft power, it comes to economic, it's all the other things, the D, the I, and the E in the dime paradigm, right? Diplomatic, industrial, and what's the E? No, I'm sorry, I completely diplomatic. I is what again? I forgot. Dime.
I don't know this acronym.
Hold on a second. I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to look this up. Hold on a second. Somebody's going to get it in the chat before I can research it. But I want to make sure that I get this right.
No, they're not.
I think it's industrial, military, and economic. But let me check myself here. My internet chooses this time to not work very quickly. Diplomatic. Oh yeah, yeah. You thanks, Phil Coggins. You basically got the ones that I'm straight on. The I though, it spells dime, D-I-M-E.
It's got to be industrial. Well, but then again, why would you have industrial and economic? Because industrial is part of economics.
Well, that's what I said when I got to economic. I was like, wait a second, is I industrial? I don't know what the hell. Let me try a different one. What
information is the I.
Thank you. I is information. Infrastructure? No, it's not infrastructure.
It's No.
I was.
He's reading chat.
I'm reading the chat.
He's reading chat.
I'm doing what you normally do, Joe, is reading the chat.
Okay, I have to go over to Rumble because some of these, like, I don't see the stickers. I just see what the command is to do the stickers. And now I'm like, what the hell could that be? Oh.
I always love how when I tell Scott it's something and he continues to look as if.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it how I set up a very like a great question for you, and you're like, "I'm sorry, Scott. I wasn't listening to what you're saying. I was reading the chat." And when
I'm sorry,
do it,
Scott, I'm not listening to what you're saying now.
That's doesn't surprise me.
It's because you go off on tangents like this. I'm sorry, but
all right.
These poor square grouper fishermen.
Poor guys.
Look at that boat on fire. Shame.
Watcher, can you go to X and look up?
Yeah.
Put Venezuela and Russia, if you would.
Listen, hold on. We have to stop everything. Listen, Rumble chat. Y'all are really pushing to be.
They're building a tower.
Territory.
They're building a Nog tower.
You Noggers ruin everything.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am sympathetic to Noggers, but ultimately, as a bold custard guy, I mean, I feel like
Is this what we were looking for?
No. It's about the anti-aircraft missiles and things like that.
Oh, right. I'm not seeing anything on that, but yes. Wait. Kind of the same thing?
Yeah, just go to X and put.
Oh, I already have. That's what we're doing. Do you want me to just scroll it here in public? I'd be careful. There are a lot of people who make their money in Venezuela on X in different ways.
Now, I think the one you got to be careful about is Colombia. You search for Colombia.
That's facts. That's hard facts right there.
Fuck. It's kind of like you go looking for.
Oh, here we go. Venezuelan Prime Minister Nicolas Maduro has urgently appealed to Russia for military assistance. Maduro has also turned to China and Iran for help. He requests the urgent delivery of drones, radar, and radio-electric warfare systems that can jam GPS. I hate to say this, but if you can't figure out how to make your own GPS jammers on the ground with even like 1950s levels of technology.
Yeah, GPS uses UHF radio. It's not that hard. Why does it look though like that guy's Venezuela patch is photoshopped in?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't look natural.
That one's why is this one weird and long? There's something going on with this photo.
So I just want to give. So here's the thing: like people are posting.
Is he having a rave or is this a training event?
Would you like to hear them?
Links are in the chat, by the way, Watcher.
Oh, sorry. I missed that.
So these are the systems that evidently that Russia has delivered to them. Not like just recently, but over the years. They've also Russia built them a factory where they're building AK-103s. Isn't that a 7.62 variant, Joe?
These are S300s?
Yeah, so this is no. So these are let's see, S300s and Bulk M2Es. You've got I think some Pansiers, which are
I would say the Pansier has just been delivered, and the Buk, I believe, was also
either M1 or M2 version of that. It says here M2E. They got the S300 VM. Now, if we can take these without like destroying them, then we could just ship them over to Ukraine and let the Russians blow them up themselves.
Well, I will say what's hilarious about this to me is that they're doing this right after it's been proven that even the S400 is basically fucking useless.
Well, it's not that it's useless. The problem is that like America is not sitting on its laurels when it comes to a lot of like this suppression of enemy air defense or SEAD, which is it's just not that hard for our guys. Now, the other thing too is that these assets are fairly limited, and if you take out one or two nodes, it basically with the being integrated, it basically take out one or two radars, it basically makes them all worthless or very degraded, right? Like, I'll be honest with you, I have not been impressed by the Russians' ability to shoot down the the Ukrainian aircraft, which should be really easy for them to shoot down.
Well, and here's the other thing that's got me. Do you have a do we have a drone currently that'll carry any of our SEAD missiles? I would submit the answer is probably absolutely yes. In which case, we now have unmanned wild weasels. I'm sorry, but you're fucked.
What do you think? What do you think? Like the Anduril Fury drone that did its first flight. Did you see
that's
this?
Exactly what that's for. The unmanned wingman is like so unbelievably perfect for bombers to be able to deploy and essentially be a wild weasel that follows them constantly, and can be it can be its own munition. I don't know if you guys realize that, but they can pack that drone itself full of everything, and then once it's expended its missiles, the drone itself can go expend itself on a last target.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, that fucking thing. Let me see if I can find.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let me grab the video. Real quick, Scott. We did get a fun retweet. I thought this was nice.
What? I'm sorry, Squishy Hunter. I could see the name. I just can't read
Sir,
it.
a Nog Tower has
hit the chat. Very nice.
We've also got a hot cocoa tower now, apparently.
By the way, have you guys noticed the drama, the fake drama that was around the Brownells?
Yes.
I thought that was really well done, because people were really pissed that they thought that they had fired that guy.
I liked the Monty Python credits reference. That was nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a second one here I missed.
Let's see. There we go. Yeah. So this is just better pictures. This is the S300. That's the bulk M2 right there.
The middle one's the Pansier S1. And then...
Yeah, right. And so the Panzer is the one that has really been very unimpressive. I thought that thing was supposed to be pretty badass, and the specs on it are pretty good, but Libya, they fucked it up in Libya, and in Libya it was actually being crewed by Russians, and it hasn't performed in Ukraine either. So I'll be honest with you, I had much higher expectations of the Russian military throughout this entire thing, and I mean, they're basically where I think they should be right now based on how long they've been fighting, but ultimately a lot of their gear just never showed up. Yeah, so this is the Fury. If it looks like an F-16 without a cockpit, I don't think that's an accident. The F-16 is a pretty great shape for an aircraft.
I will say, in related news to this, if anybody else follows weird Area 51 news, they did have an aircraft go down near Area 51 last week, and they did full-on recovery for it. And it was around the time, it was after this first test. So, interesting.
Oh, by the way, I want to plug the member of our chat, the TDA tracker himself, TDA tracker 24/7 posted this. Basically, it's a little bit of analysis on the Venezuela situation. Let's see. I wanted to share some articles that are key to understanding all the pieces of the puzzle. The Russian government has been steadily supplying Venezuela with tech over the years. We have already discussed the advancements of communication systems that were supplied by Russia to Venezuela recently. However, we found out through leaked files, considered for a minute, that we may not know. You can view previous discussions, blah, 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 articles. So basically, top Russian official threatens to put nukes in Cuba. A senior Russian lawmaker says Moscow just delivered new air defense systems to Venezuela. And so, of course, talking about the Panjshir and all that kind of stuff. So, I'll be honest with you. I think we've got probably a pretty good intel hole. The one thing about a poor country is it's really fucking easy to bribe people with information in those poor countries. And so I'm fairly certain the CIA is actually really good at delivering suitcases full of cash to people. So that's where I think we're at with Venezuela. We're in the suitcases of cash stage. I mean, Joe, what's your kind of take on that?
This is actually not new. Russia's been supplying material to Venezuela for a long time. They've given them a license to produce AK-103s. They've given them a license to produce ammo. The communication system thing, radios are a key, shocker. But that was given in response to some domestic unrest they had, and it's just a side benefit that they still have it and can use it. I don't know that Russia's actually going to put nukes in Cuba. That would be like us putting nukes in Ukraine and or in Poland. Oh wait, maybe we are. I don't know. I think that we're on track for a world conflict, and this is just one additional flashpoint on it.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's clearly people who are spoiling for a war.
Of some type somewhere.
And I don't even think that there aren't people in Russia that might not be spoiling for a war as well. Even maybe just a limited war of some sort.
Some U.S. general or some NATO general just said that Russia could attack within hours, which is absolutely silly, of course, because they can't. I don't know.
Well, they could do a first nuclear strike, but they wouldn't do that. They just wouldn't do that. I mean, it's not in Russia's interest. The fastest way for Russia to get deleted is to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because then you take all of our options away, right?
Well, I saw a movie about that recently. Another one of these Netflix predictive programming things. A missile that we couldn't attribute to anybody just magically appears and it strikes Chicago. And what does everyone do? And the thought process is that nobody would have launched it, nobody rational, because it just assures destruction by everybody or of everybody by everybody else. So I don't know that nuclear is really the concern I would have from anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't know. I just don't. I don't feel like a war between Russia and America is in the cards. Ultimately, I think if we can put enough strain on Russia and bring them back close enough to the fold, then maybe a war between China and Russia might be in the cards.
Well, when we invaded Iraq in 2003, we killed a number of Russian radar technicians who happened to be serving with the Iraqis.
Yeah.
At the time, the Russians considered that the cost of doing business. I don't believe the same would be true if some of the pilots or ground support staff at the Russian air base in Venezuela would be treated the same, right? I think they would consider that a direct attack, just like they would have if we had attacked Latakia or Nijmegen,
Right.
any of those places. So I think that we have to be careful in our zeal to strike Venezuela that we don't inadvertently kill a large number of Russian service members. That could cause a big problem.
What do you guys think? I think we should end on a funny note because there's been some serious stuff that we've been talking about today. Watcher, did you see the thing I just dropped?
No, pulling it up now.
By the way, if you're not following TDA Tracker, definitely check him out.
Yeah.
Somebody throw
100%.
his. Here we go. Watch your play this. This is how you're going to have to move around in NYC now that Mandani is the mayor.
Durka Allah, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad. Bagala, Muhammad Jihad. Allah, Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Muhammad Jihad. Bak, Dirk Allah. Durka, Muhammad Jihad. Haka Sherpa, Bagala. Oh, Durka.
I'm sorry, that never is not funny. We recently got a young lady at work who hasn't been living her life right. We recently got her to watch Office Space so she can start getting our references. Walking down the streets in New York City in 2006. Oh, yes. Yeah, so anyway, she just watched Office Space, and so we're all very proud of her, and she's she now understands like all
the references.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you've been missing it, Bob.
Yeah. That's a great film.
It is a great film. All right.
Do you have your 12 pieces of flair?
What would you do if you had $1 million? My favorite character in that was Michael Bolton.
Have you ever had a case of the Mondays? No, man. I would never say that.
Maybe you should just go by Mike. No way. Why should I change? He's the one who sucks.
What is it that you say you do here?
What is it you say you do? Let's talk about TPS reports. All right, guys. That's all I got for today. Joe, looking at the weekend coming, you think they pull the trigger on Venezuela this weekend, or you think it goes a couple more weeks?
Well, it's Friday. Big things tend to happen over weekends, so I really don't know. I think we'll probably see some more leftist reeing over EBT because I see that they're screeching again that the court has ordered him to pay it because the court has some sort of authority over the budget, apparently. But I think we'll see some protests related to the shutdown, and I think we may see some more action on Venezuela over the weekend.
Yeah, I wouldn't. So, Joe, for me, I don't mean to preempt Watcher here, but my money on Venezuela is that it's something asymmetric first, right? Like not like like airstrikes or something like that. All of a sudden, there's some sort of a, like an uprising in the military, or you know what I mean, like something kind of that was prompted by external forces, very likely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first thing we see, and then that gives us further reason to get involved. Versus, Watcher, what's your take on the weekend?
Well, follow me because this is going to be a bit roundabout. I think things are going to get weird and spicy. I think they're going to get weird and spicy as of this afternoon sometime. And I think that's because I think they're going to try and bury the story. It's now... Look, I'm trying to be careful here, but I'm seeing this reported by a couple different places. So apparently they've figured out who the J6 pipe bomber is yesterday. And that's starting to spread. And do
we know who it is?
Well, kind of, yeah.
Are you saying like you don't want to say it?
I'm saying like 94%. It was a Capitol Police officer.
Do we have the is that link? No, that's you've been send me that link. I'm curious about that. I haven't heard about this.
Okay, hold on. Let me find you the headlines that I'm looking at because yeah, that's apparently the Blaze is the one who broke it.
It'll be interesting if like it's basically like the FBI found this out and now they're sitting on it. That would be really, really interesting.
Oh no! Apparently the FBI has known since. So the FBI said in January this year that they know who that they know who it was.
Yeah,
here you go. Here's the Blaze Media link.
All right, cool. I'll check that out here once the show's over. All right, guys. I already gave my look into the future. Hey,
crazy shit.
So, if you've hung around with us this long, you may very well likely be a supporter of more than just the show. You may be a supporter of our Indiegogo campaign for Land and Sea that we did in coordination with Blaine and Brent. Based on the novel series Land and Sea that I think Blaine's on book 7 now. Well, I'm finally getting out the graphic novel. I've got a new update. We acknowledge that we are late, but we're only just a smidge late, right, on this one, and that's because we got backed up on Doorkickers, and so we're doing everything we can to fulfill Doorkickers. And as soon as Doorkickers fulfilled, we will be getting all the items together and start fulfilling Land and Sea as soon as possible. The book is done. And so to that end, if you are a backer, we sent out an email. I sent out 2 emails. One was an Indiegogo update. And so if you didn't get that email, go to the website and you can see the update in the update section of the Land and Sea Paradise campaign. And then I sent out a second email. If you're a backer and you have actually sent money in and you bought a book, whether it's a digital copy or you bought a physical copy, we sent a link out to the full PDF of the book. So the entire story is there.
Uncolored though, to be clear.
No, it is colored. This is the digital version. It is the final digital version, right? Now, it is lower resolution, so this is not something that you could print out your own version and it would look super sharp, right? If you want to print your own copy, you can. There are no licenses attached to this. That being said, if you sell it and if you print it and sell it yourself, then you're a fucking douchebag, and it'll be a crappy version that you do. But that being said, if you are a backer of the physical book, you will be getting your book soon, right? We're probably, as soon as we start fulfilling, we will probably do a special show. We'll talk about it. I'll get Blaine to come on, Brent to come on. We'll do a final closeout of the campaign here on Future Conflict, and then that will be it. From then on, it'll just be purchasing the book, and it'll probably a little more expensive if you buy a copy not through the campaign. So the last thing that the last big piece that we have to do is order the miniatures. So once we get the miniatures in, we should be able to start, assuming all the Doorkickers books are out the door, then we can start putting the book together. So
the miniatures,
good.
That actually mostly happened in the email while we were on the show. So
I just saw that email. So anyway, if you are a backer and you are hearing me talk about this, and you did not get a link to the book, I'm literally going to put my email. Actually, I think my email is in the YouTube information. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it as a post here. It's Kiyoshi080 at Hotmail. This is like my real email. So if you just want to like fucking fuck with me, I guess you could do that.
The last person who still uses Hotmail.
You know, I have other options I could go to if I need to ditch this one, but I would just assume not have Cervix Hammer like sign me up to.
While Scott's doing that, I did find a good little chuckle-worthy thing. I just want to remind everybody before we leave for the weekend that in the war against Bigfoot, there are no winners, only survivors. God, I want this job. In case you're unaware, there's a lot of means of avalanche prevention, and they mostly involve old artillery and or purpose-made rockets.
All right, so there's my email, Kiyoshi00 at hotmail. Yeah, this is a backup. So if you guys get stupid, I'll just stop checking it. So send it to that. If you ordered a book and you didn't, now let's be honest, you could lie and send it, but you have to be able to give me your email address. Because that email address, I've got all the lists and I'll check it against the list. So you have to put your email address, say, hey, I ordered the book. I just checked. I didn't get an email with the link in it. Now I know that I think that about 1 in 4 didn't get there based on the clicks that I'm seeing on the emails. So just check, and then make sure you check your spam folder because it's a mass email. Sometimes they go to spam folder. So check all that first. If you didn't get it, email me, and I'll be putting together an email later today to send out the link to everybody. But actually, you know what I can do? Watcher, I've got the link right here. If you want to pull the book up, we can just kind of flip through it real quick. It's right there in the private chat.
Hold on, let me make it look better. There we go. That'll be better.
So when you get it, you're opening a Google Drive link to a PDF. You can download it or you can look at it in your browser. I've got a little mea culpa first page there. Saying so sorry. I did not. I like whatever. It's
life
late.
comes at you fast.
Yeah. No excuses. It's late, but it's not really late. Fucking Doorkickers is massively late. So apologies to any of you guys if you back that one. But Doorkickers is literally going out now, according to Watcher.
Yes. A lot of you should have shipping updates. There's a couple of you who don't. Mostly the people that have playing cards. Those will be here next week.
All right. So trading cards.
Trading cards. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of flip through there, and they let them see the. So all the final colors are done. All of the edited text is done because we put out a preview copy earlier that didn't have final text or final colors. So all of that stuff is done.
For those who know, ANSI pattern was our model. I'm just saying. Dude looks like ANSI pattern 100%.
I love that he gave him a red hat. And I've never seen a red San Diego hat before, but he gave him a red San Diego hat, and I was like, he's totally going with the Santa Claus meme, like the tactical Santa Claus,
Yeah. Oh, I called Mark tactical Santa Claus at camp this week, or last week.
God, the Lions look so good.
Yeah, Doug really crushed the Ashers. They look great. He draws good people and he draws good tech. So I really
got an
like
Asher Pilot patch here somewhere that I need to put on something.
My
want to
fear
put one
about
on.
putting. Yeah, go ahead.
On my hat, I think it'd be a good place to put it.
My only fear about putting it on something is that I like the patch far more than whatever I put it on. So then I'm like obligated to keep whatever the clothing is.
Like I said, if I put Velcro on the back, then I can always just put it on something else with Velcro on it. So
yeah, I need to Velcro back it. I know that we knew I know that we knew him for other reasons, but it's good for us that he's so damn good at drawing mechs because he crushed it.
Yeah, this looks really good.
The honey badger. Mm.
And so the physical book will have additional art pages and stuff like that in the back. So it'll basically have all the covers that will be in the back, and then also not all, but a lot of the kind of concept art that Doug did getting ready for this. He did a lot of different versions of Ashers and things like that to kind of get the look right. The cool thing about it is the Asher he designed for this book is the honey badger, right? And
yes.
And that is now a canonized version in the Land and Sea world that Doug got to design.
Go back and look at it. There it is.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love the honey badger. Just a note from shipping. I know that we promised you guys a folded poster. Due to Mrs. Watcher's ingenuity, it might not have a crease in it by the time it gets to you. We really hope it doesn't, even though a folded poster, basically you expect it to. She figured out how to pack it to where it's kind of wrapped around everything in such a way that hopefully it will not crease.
Yeah. So So I've experimented with this on the first Doorkickers book. If you unfold a folded poster and then you iron it, put another piece of paper over it and then iron it, that will take the creases out to the point where it's really hard to see. Is it perfect? It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So unless yours gets really, really manhandled by the mail service, it should get there without a crease.
So anyway, that's the book. It exists. I know that I've seen a lot of these kind of crowdfunder comics are basically they're vaporware. They never happen, and these people send the money, and because of the rules of Indiegogo, if you don't ask for a receipt or basically if you don't cancel your order during the campaign, then you have basically agreed to basically fund their campaign. And if I had just said, oh, well, here's the book, and I just send you a PDF, but I don't send you anything else, theoretically, that meets their terms and conditions. And so it's kind of like people have gone with, I've paid for books I never received a book for. And it's not like I didn't get one and everybody else did, so it just got lost in the mail. Nobody ever got these books, right? And so I know a lot of people are weary on that kind of thing, but that's one of the reasons why I put the digital copies out there, is to show you the book exists. We're not trying to hold on to your guys' money. It's just, I'll be honest, with me being in Korea, I never thought that it was going to take this much out of me. And so it's been really tough. And before I do the next book, it's going to be completely done, and I'll probably, God bless you, Watcher, but you're so busy. I don't know. I may end up just paying for a professional.
But yeah, I totally
next time or something.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out. But and maybe you've learned enough lessons on this one to where we can do it again. But I don't know what the answer is yet, and I'm going to do a good AAR coming out of this one. To make sure that you guys, you entrust me with your money, you deserve the book. So I'm sorry we bored Joe there at the end. But anyway, all right. I just wanted to say that. I didn't expect to go that long on it. Pay extra for really, really manhandled delivery.
Ooh.
Hey, yeah. I'll drop that link for the story, y'all. That's the Blaze story. All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you for being here. Watcher, appreciate your time. Joe, thank you. Despite the fact that you aren't still have extra door kickers, yeah, I think we could probably work with you there. We're gonna once everything gets out, we're gonna basically offer everything I had to say. We're gonna we've got some future conflict merch that we're gonna be working on. We've got multiple items, not just another patch. And then we've also got the comic stuff. I wanted to get all the comic book stuff done before we essentially do anything else, because I don't want to try to sell one thing and I haven't, fulfilled another thing. So once we send all that out, we will be, putting stuff together so that to make the extras available to you guys. All right. That's all I got. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate Watcher and Joe. We will be back on Monday. Pray that nothing bad happens over the weekend, but you never know when it will. You guys have been great. As always, stay safe.